This is the Inquisitive Minds Podcast.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Inquisitive Minds Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Smith, and with me today, my guest is a restaurateur, a comedian, and a podcaster. His new restaurant concept, Sokah, opens up in March, and you can listen to his podcast, The Cory Brennan Show, on YouTube and Spotify. Welcome to the podcast, Cory Brennan.
My brother, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I can't complain. Things are going well now.
Yeah.
I know this is released later on, but my baby was in the hospital for a week. Failure to thrive.
Okay.
Yeah, they switched up formula again, and she seems to be gaining weight, and everything's going
So that
well.
just means like not eating? Or?
She wasn't gaining weight. She was eating like a
wow.
little horse, but just wasn't picking up the weight.
Wow.
Like, she's just now, she's almost 6 weeks, and she's only a couple ounces over her birth weight.
How's that possible?
She lost a little bit of weight after she was born, and then just struggled to get it back on.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
it was
gotta get her that
terrifying.
mass gainer, that powder, that workout powder.
Well, yeah, I thought that's what I honestly thought. I was like, we need to get her some creatine, or whey protein, or something.
Yeah.
But not to make the whole podcast about this, but we started her off on the formula they give us, and that was going okay, and then we switched to powder, and then we switched to another stuff, and then they said add cereal in it. Nothing was working. Finally, they got her on a formula that's like sensitive, and it's working.
But she's gaining weight.
Yeah, I thought like her father has no problem gaining weight. What the hell's wrong with you?
The genes didn't pass.
Yeah, but no. Now that's out of the way. Glad to have you, man. What's
Thank you, sir.
outside of the restaurant? Because we're definitely going to touch on that. How have you been?
Good, man. Just grinding, working, trying to I was out of the restaurant game for a little bit, so I got back in, just trying to get like a reputation, a footing, meet the right people, and eventually had an opportunity to open up my own place like I'm doing now. So
I'll be honest. When I saw your previous restaurant ventures, I was very intrigued by your menu. It was much different than I had anticipated. Honestly, I hate to say this because no one wants to be judged for their opinions. But I look at you and I thought, okay, good burgers and fries, nothing wrong with that. And then you had some shit with caviar on it, and I was like, oh, he does not eat the same as me.
So I used to be at this place called Alchemy Bar and Kitchen. I ran the business, and so the whole concept there was it's called molecular gastronomy, which is a big word to say science and food.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole concept was trying to combine flavors that you normally wouldn't put together to create something new.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that was the whole thing of the alchemy. It was like everyone was trying to take metals or substances and turn them into gold. So it's like we're kind of taking two things wouldn't normally go together and make something great.
Okay.
So we did caviar and white chocolate on chicken, and stuff like that.
I was very fat. I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah. So, and it's actually the executive chef from there, JB, and myself, and my other buddy Ron, who is my assistant manager at Alchemy. We all left, and we're starting this on our own.
So Sokah is the name of your new restaurant.
Yep.
Can you tell me where the name came from?
Yeah, so Sokah is a kind of music in the Caribbean, but it's not exclusive to one Caribbean country. It's kind of a mixture of them all, and that's what we're doing. It's not we're not just doing you'll see some Jamaican restaurants or whatever. We're pulling influences from all over the Caribbean. And then also mixing that with standard American barbecue. So a lot of smoked meats and stuff mixed with a Caribbean flair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Oxtail, anything like that?
Oh, buddy. Of course. We got to have the oxtail, yeah.
Okay.
Oxtail, smoked brisket, jerk chicken, grilled snapper. And it's kind of interesting, too, that barbecuing, which is cooking over fire, basically, or smoke, originated in the Caribbean.
Oh.
Barbecue is a damn it, I can't remember the language, but it's a dead language now. But from the native people in the Bahamas, barbecue's one of their words.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool, bringing it back full circle. But it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. Obviously, I don't know my Caribbean history at all.
I didn't either until we started.
Well, you told me the name of the restaurant, and then earlier when I was asking you questions, you told me it was Caribbean food. And again, just plain Jane John the idiot. When I heard Sokah, I'm like, oh, maybe something Asian. Like I didn't know anything.
Oh
about
yeah. Well, and like people look at me and they're like, he's doing Caribbean food. The executive chef JB, his family is all from Trinidad.
Okay.
So like a lot of the recipes are like his family's recipes and stuff. So it's really cool. It's like really authentic, but then we're also kind of bringing it to the masses by mixing it with barbecue. So it's a cool little, mix.
It's a very interesting concept.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
How did you get into restauranting?
Oh man, I was like 18 and I started working. I was a server assistant at a place called Tamari in Lawrenceville, and then eventually worked my way up server, bartender, and started bartending a bunch of places, Nakama, which a lot of people know, or country clubs, all these nice restaurants, all these different kind of places. Bartended for a long time, and then eventually the only place to go up from there is management. To start managing, it was just it's just all I've really done for the past 12 years.
Okay.
So yeah,
when I first met you, I always wondered what you did.
Yeah.
Never asked. Never thought to ask. Just wondered for the last few years. I was like, I don't know what the fuck Cory does.
Yeah, just survive.
Isn't that what we're all trying to do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. Though. No, I get that. I've never worked in a restaurant myself. The furthest
Really?
I've been is McDonald's.
Okay.
I hated it.
Yeah, no, it sucks. Honestly, anytime you're like working in food and the public, that counts to me.
For the local listeners, I worked at the McDonald's on the north side in Manchester.
Damn, son.
Twice. Back in like 06 and 07.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the only McDonald's they should serve like your double quarter pounders like through like under like in bodegas the glass.
under the glass.
The bulletproof
I tell you
glass,
what,
yeah.
For the local listeners, that place is a little sketchy.
Yeah.
If I've never been to prison or anything like that, that working at that McDonald's should have been street cred enough for me.
Oh yeah.
That shit was rough.
Yeah.
That was rough.
They'd be like, what you rep? You're like Manchester McDonald's. They're like, let's get the fuck out of here, bro.
I worked at that one twice, and I worked at the one in North Hills, right by McIntyre Square.
Markedly easier to work at, I'm sure.
It was and it wasn't because, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but the majority of people that worked there were foreign. So there was some language barriers and whatnot.
Okay.
I remember there was a whole Greek family that worked there.
Really?
And it was hilarious because they did not give a shit.
Wow.
Like the one manager, Steve, was trying to tell us something, and this guy's just laughing. Ha ha, Steve, you have little penis. Wow, he like takes a glop of mayonnaise, puts it on a burger, and just eats it.
Oh.
He's like, ha, you have little penis. What's Steve going to do?
Just serving snack wrap grape leaves.
It was disgusting.
Oh, God.
But that was an experience, and I made $5.25 an hour.
Dude, so I used to make sushi, right?
Okay.
I was like a sushi guy. I was a white sushi guy. And I made $13 an hour. Now you can't hire a fucking fry cook for less than like 18, 19. That's what like people like get pissed like about the minimum wage. Like, oh, well, no one can make it on $7.25 or whatever it is an hour. Like, yeah, but I couldn't hire a dishwasher for $7.25 an hour. Like, it's really not even the effective minimum wage anymore.
That's an interesting point. I work at a job now. I make $17 an hour.
Okay.
It's not bad, but it's not nearly enough.
Right.
But I also had a conversation recently where I remember thinking I had got a job in 2005, and I had asked for $6.10 an hour, and they gave me $7, and I thought I
rich.
was fucking killing it. Like I was so pumped, and now I'm thinking like 17 isn't even enough.
Right.
Like
no.
it's better than what it could be.
Yeah.
But it's not nearly
It's
enough.
not enough,
And if
yeah.
you're working a job for $7.25, first question is, where the fuck are you working?
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's impossible.
Like
No one's making that. That's why I hate when people use stats based off that. I'm like, that's not a representative of anyone in America right now.
Like there's people-ready jobs. The temp agency,
Yeah.
most of their jobs are $15, $16 an hour for temp work.
Yeah.
Like
The sheets workers, like get-go workers, they start like
14,
16,
15, 16.
16, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the most unhappy people on earth, the people who like cook at those places. But yeah, like
Walmart, I think, starts at 15, 16, somewhere.
yeah,
in there.
it's impossible.
Like, I just don't know where you're working for $7.25.
Yeah. And like in the restaurant, that's so like restaurants are kind of going through it right now because labor, like people always assume like, like restaurants pay servers $2.83 an hour, like they're not making a livable wage. Mm-hmm. Look, for the restaurant I'm coming at, the servers make $40 to $50 an hour. Like, it's not the like people act like restaurant workers are like slave workers. It's like, no, the people are making good money, but restaurants hope at the end of the year to make like 3% profit. So if you raise wages by 10%, there is no more profit. In fact, you're losing money.
My thought about that is because, like, I always thought they were more discussing it. Not the $40, $50 an hour they make off tips, but like the Eaton Parks or the Denny's where, Kathy's 87 and she's still waiting tables and getting $3 tips for a grand slam.
Even like I know this person works at Red Robin. They make like $25, $30 an hour at Red Robin.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think things are on the move too.
Yeah.
Because I know I feel obligated to tip when I'm out. I think most people do, at least of the generation of mine and before, feel obligated to tip. Now, I know older folks like myself, I try and give 20%, but I will penalize you on shitty service.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not giving you 20% if you were an asshole.
You ever dropped a zero bomb?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd someone have to do to...
Fucked up all the orders.
Okay.
Like 3 or 4 of the plates. Just would not come back. I had one drink sitting there. Like, I know this sounds...
no one knew Johnny was a Karen.
No, I'm not a Karen, but like, just come see me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She fucked up everything. The stuff she didn't fucked up was burnt. I know that's not her fault, but you're looking at it, bringing it to me. You know damn well I'm not going to eat that.
Yeah, you walked it to me.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand why people would leave zeros.
Very easy to get a 20% tip from me.
Right.
Very easy. Just show up.
Hit the bare minimum.
Say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Good, thanks. Get away.
Lie to me. Tell me you're happy to be here.
That's all. Smile. Like, there's another thing I might get crucified for. Like, look, I didn't tell you to take this job.
Right.
I get it. We all got shitty stuff going on in our lives.
Yeah.
But for right now, at the 30 seconds you're at the table, just don't act like you're about to kill yourself.
Yeah. Because my life is shit too, and I'm here to forget that for a second.
Yep.
And enjoy a meal out.
Outside of like friends on Facebook and stuff and family, no one would have known that my daughter was in the hospital.
Right.
Because when I would go somewhere to do something, I was perfectly pleasant. Because no one else's fault.
Right. Because you were taught some like social awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole.
Yes.
Well, one of the things too, my aunt that died of COVID in 2020. I say the woman who raised me, love her to death. Love her to horrible at restaurants.
Really?
Terrible. Like, so demanding, so rude, condescending, disrespectful. And then, $200 bill because there was 10 of us or 7 of us. Give him 5.
Oh.
Give him $5. Not 5%. Give him $5.
$5.
And I'm like, what are you doing? There were times I would slip people at 20 just when we started, just like, hey, she's going to be rough.
This is going to suck.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like in South Korea, they have mandatory like military service for guys. Like all men have to serve.
I heard that quite a few countries do that.
Okay, yeah.
Like I think Switzerland.
Maybe,
actually,
yeah.
It's mandatory, like 2 years of service.
Yeah, but there's a time limit you have to serve, right? And like, there's a bunch of benefits to that because it teaches you, all kinds of life skills and
some structure, some discipline.
I think in America, everyone should have to do 1 year of a service industry job, just to learn what it's like to like live on tips and have to basically like appease people. Like moment to moment to make money. It would teach everyone a lot.
I've worked with the public quite a few times, and that's miserable enough.
Yeah.
But if they determined how much money I was making, that would make it even worse.
Yes. Yeah. I used to work at this car dealership. I was a service advisor.
Okay.
So like you make most of your money based off salary, but you also get like commissions for selling. Like you come in for an oil change, and I get you to replace your transmission. Like I'm getting a bonus, right?
Okay.
But people, that was worse than any restaurant I ever worked in. It was a dealership in Butler, PA. And just dealing with the fucking, like, everyone thinks you're trying to rob them, and like people just get on the phone angry with you already and stuff like that. And when I realized that like they don't really affect my pay, it really started to change my behavior, where I was like, I would just come back at them as or even more shitty, just to be like, I don't give a fuck, dude. But like if I was getting tipped by that person, or like my pay was based off that interaction with the person, it'd have been totally different. And like that's what restaurants are. It's like servers, like a lot of times, like the back of house, like or like chef, like cooks and stuff, will complain about the money that they make, but no cook wants to deal with the public the way they have to eat shit. You know what I mean? It's you know, I get it from both sides, where it's like why you pick that job, but also like fuck that job.
Yeah,
sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. I worked for a car lot for an Audi dealership.
Okay,
I was their detailer, and you know most people were reasonable. I know how to detail a car. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah,
and especially we got all the products and equipment I could need, so it's fine. I do this 6-7 times a day. But then you'd get people who would be like, "There's a 1/2-inch little, you know, wipe from the rag, on the back window," and there's this whole thing got, and the dealers or the salesmen obviously are getting commission and want to sell, so they're on you like, oh, this is, and it's just like, oh my god, the fucking headache with you people. If you were paying for this detail $200-300 like I would charge you, you would understand, oh, he did a great job. But since it's complimentary, you're a dickhead.
And people who buy Audis are like,
I mean,
Nazis.
Like I said, most of
right, because they're buying an Audi.
Most of the people that bought them were fine, but you'd have those idiots. I got a bad Google review while I was working there because a guy had left his car windows down. It rained, filled it up with rain. I did my best to dry it and clean it out as I could. And he said it still had a faint smell of rain.
Yeah, well, there's a faint smell of stupidity on him. So,
hey, asshole, this is your fault, by the way. Like, you did this, but
man,
people are nuts.
Yeah. I mean, it's Actually, I did learn that like the car dealership game and the restaurant game there's a ton of similarities between them because you are dealing with the public. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people who've never worked in a restaurant just kind of overlook what it is, and like if they had to do it, it would open their eyes a lot to like what people in the restaurants are dealing with.
Absolutely. Question for you. Where do you stand when someone doesn't like the meal but ate most of it and send it back?
You paying.
Okay.
If you ate it, right, then you're paying.
Okay. So what's your limit? A good bite or two?
Yeah, like if less than half of it is eaten, like I'll take care of it. But like if there's like the bones left, well, whether you didn't like it or not, you ate it. Okay. So now you got to pay. Like maybe I'll give you like a gift card for the next time or something like that. But like I'm not gonna comp something you completely ate.
So scumbag life hack: eat 40% of your meal.
49%.
Send it back. Eat the other 40%. Say it was just as shit. Walk out of there eating 80% of a free meal.
Yes. Yeah. No, and like where you're at matters too. Like if you're at a casual restaurant, it's like, no, I'm not gonna comp it. If you're not happy, but like at a place like because there's so many customers coming through, but like a fine dining place like where I was at, it's like you gotta take care of people more. Especially like my own conscience, I'd be like, okay, that person just paid like $60 for that plate. If it's not exactly what they wanted, I'm gonna get them exactly what they want. Like, you know what I mean?
I've never been upscale dining.
Okay.
I don't hate to say that. I just haven't fucking gone.
Yeah, that's fine.
Shit's expensive.
It is. Yeah.
But the only trouble I've had is like at a Denny's or a thing, and you know, send it back. It's honestly, I'm so simple, and this is just me getting on a high horse here. I'm so simple when I order. I usually get a fucking double cheeseburger with fries, side of mayonnaise, and ranch.
Sounds delicious.
You don't even got to write that down.
No.
You know, with a Coke or Pepsi, whatever the fuck you got. I'm not hard to please. So when they fuck that up, I just go irate. I know.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. And like restaurants too. So like I told you, like restaurants operate on a slim margin. Like even like like the best restaurants in the world are going like 10% maybe profit. You know, so like you also have to like take into account the cost benefit analysis of being like, okay, at a casual restaurant, okay, this person didn't like their grilled cheese. All right, that grilled cheese cost me like $1.50 to make. So you know what? I'm just gonna take it off because it'll make them happy, and it makes me more money for them to come back in again. That, you know what I mean? It's just like whatever. But like at a fine dining restaurant, like say you didn't like, say someone got something really expensive like an A5 Wagyu, or something like that. That costs me like $50 to put on the plate. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of times like fine dining restaurants will fall into a pit where they're just like comping off stuff because now you just ruined your profit. Because you're already like fine dining restaurants a lot of times work on higher margins than other restaurants because you're using like high quality ingredients and stuff. So it's like you kind of have to measure like, okay, is it cheaper for me just to make this person happy right now so they come back in again, or like is this person trying to fuck me? Because that also happens in fine dining restaurants, even with rich people. They'll come in and just like you said, like, I don't like this, I don't like that, complain about everything, hoping that they're gonna get a free meal at the end. So it's like there's a lot of like playing it by ear and like running a restaurant like that and trying to figure out like, okay, what decisions here is gonna make me more money in the long run. It's not a perfect science at all.
What is the highest profit dish that most fine dining restaurants sell? Just out of curiosity.
Pepsi.
Pepsi? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's like from fast food to the best restaurant in the world, they're making most of their money off beverages.
That's wild.
Yeah, so like McDonald's, the Big Mac is the hook to sell you a Coke. Like they make most of their margin off of beverages.
And it's crazy because they still sell them so cheap too.
Yeah.
Like you get a drink for $1.50, whatever at McDonald's.
Yeah, it costs them a nickel.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Like your one large Coke probably costs them a nickel, including like the cup and the straw and all that shit.
So I have a question about, I guess, supplies. Because I don't know much about running a restaurant or anything like that. But when you get into higher quality ingredients, do you have to order in lower quantities? You have to wait till things are in season? What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, so that's another like factor you have to take into account is your inventory doesn't last forever. Like it spoils, right? So not only do you have to have the appropriate amount of stuff in,
and these are expensive things that spoil.
Yeah,
it's not like just a tub of mayonnaise.
Like imagine if like a clothing store, like if their clothes like expired after some certain point, it would make it infinitely harder to like manage the inventory. So like for restaurants, like let's say you buy you ate scallops, right? Like these like big fucking scallops. They have maybe a week tops until they're done, and they cost you probably $20 a pound to bring them in, you know what I mean? So depending on the restaurant, you know, you spent hundreds of dollars probably on scallops. So if you don't sell enough of those scallop dishes, you're fucked. So it's like not only do you have to make sure you have like all the ingredients in to make everything you need, you also have to make sure you have the appropriate amount in for what your business is doing right now. So it's a ton of that, and that's, you know, usually your kitchen manager or your chef, whatever's handling that. But it's a huge skill, like handling your inventory so that you're not losing money. Because it's one thing to buy a bunch of inventory that sits on a shelf and you don't sell it. But with restaurants, you could actually lose that money if you don't handle it correctly. That's where a lot of restaurants fail, is their, you know, like food costs, inventory in the kitchen.
Huh.
Liquor's easy. It lasts forever. You have it on the shelf for fucking ever.
Sokah will sell liquor?
No, so Sokah is like a what we're looking to do with that is kind of like a Chipotle for like Caribbean food.
Oh, really?
So like a fast casual.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so we're doing it based off of
like a Panda Express type thing too?
Yeah. Okay. So actually, it's kind of a mixture of the two, because we're gonna have bowls, like Caribbean bowls, where like you choose your base, whether you want it to be like coconut rice or rice and beans or spring mix salad, whatever. You choose your base, and then we have all these different accoutrements you can put on there. You know, avocado, you know, callaloo, steamed or stewed cabbage, all this shit, right? Plantains, and then you choose your your meat, whether it's oxtail or jerk chicken or smoked brisket or whatever. So you kind of like build your own bowl, or we also do platters. We're gonna have some sandwiches, but it's all gonna be like where
I like the concept of that. Yeah. I like the concept of that too, because honestly, I like being able to see things like that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah,
and be able to, because honestly, sometimes it's look. You know, I might not want to try this jerk chicken because I don't like the way it looks, but this brisket looks delicious.
Right.
You know, that's I like that.
I mean, it's a proven model. I mean, you think of all the like Subway, Moe's, Chipotle, pretty much any sub place.
Yeah.
Where like you go in, you build your own shit. Qdoba. It's all like, you know, give me that, give me this, give me that, give me that. Like people like that shit. You know what I mean?
I haven't heard it in a Caribbean restaurant, so that's
yeah. We're trying to make it. You know, like it's a space that's not super populated right now. The Caribbean food, especially like quote unquote like fast food or like fast casual. So, we think we have it in a really like packageable way where it's like we can introduce people into Caribbean food, kind of like a California roll for sushi. It's like
I get
easy
you.
to eat, yeah.
Because sometimes new food is intimidating.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and sometimes you don't want to lose money on something you don't like.
Yep.
Sometimes you just don't want to try something new. So I like that.
It's especially true in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like people like pierogies and like permanentes.
Yeah.
And they like fries on fucking everything. So it's like, yeah, we want to make it where people feel comfortable that like, oh, I'm going to like this and not, you know, waste money.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got a few locations for it.
Yeah. So I can't say specifically where they're going to be at just for contractual purposes. Not allowed to announce it yet, but we'll have one location in north side of Pittsburgh,
which I'm excited about because I live on the north side.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
No more Quip.
No.
North side.
I was only staying in Quip with Chris,
okay.
And then once we got pregnant and everything, I moved down back with my
Chris,
mom.
When you got pregnant.
Yeah, when me and Chris got pregnant. We both already look like we're fucking pregnant.
Love Scriva. But yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, we'll be on the north side. Looks like we're gonna have one in like it's called Evans City area, like near Zionopol. And then we're gonna have one in we're looking at Warrendale, which is near Wexford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great location for that.
Yeah.
Great location for
We're
that.
trying to spread it around a little bit.
Yeah, that's smart too.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on something because it wouldn't be the Inquisitive Minds podcast if we didn't ask about a paranormal experience.
All right.
And you have one very brief. You know, I don't want to get you guys excited with something super juicy.
Yeah.
But
well, okay. So like, I'll preface it with like, I'm not a huge believer in it, or I wasn't at least. Okay. I was kind of a dickhead about it too. Like if someone was like, "Oh," I'd be like, "Dude, like shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
What'd you see? Sasquatch's ghost, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so. I was hanging out with this girl.
A lady sent me a picture this morning of a former guest.
Yeah.
And it was a beef jerky, but it was labeled as Sasquatch foreskins. And the whole morning I was just thinking about the guy who had to cultivate for the bag. Go ahead.
The moil for a Sasquatch. Yeah. So I was hanging out with this girl who was admittedly, you know, kind of crazy. I'm related to this.
Oh, aren't they the fun ones though?
The best, right? So she was telling me about how, you know, like she was having stuff fall off her counters and things were moving in her house, and like her daughter was saying she was seeing shit and stuff, and I was like, all right, like, you know, why don't you hold off on Xanax a little bit, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean, like, because she's also, being honest, one of those girls who would party and stuff. I'm like, you're seeing shit, and it's okay, but you're partying. So I went over to her house, and you know, we're copulating, I believe that's the word. Copulation is happening.
Fornication
is happening, and as we're fornicating, her door was like slightly ajar, like 4 or 5 inches, maybe, you know, and it just goes dish, 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 like 3 times, like hits and comes back, hits and comes back, hits and comes back, and I was like, and like let me tell you the shriveling that happens. When like the door just slams, and like her daughter wasn't home, like she's at her dad's, so like no one else, no pets, no one's in the place, just boom, 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 and I got the fuck up out of there as quickly as possible.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Because here's the thing, like I didn't want to believe.
So you immediately too in this moment went from non-believer to believe. Fair.
The door slamming, bro. Like, how do I can't be like, I wasn't hallucinating. It happened.
You couldn't interpret that as approval from the other side? Like, doing a good job.
No, I think he was like, he's like, that's my bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And yeah, so I don't know. And I'm assuming it was a guy. Just assuming. Because, like, I feel like a girl ghost wouldn't, like, want to partake in that as much, you know?
Okay.
She'd be like, this is gross. I'm gonna
Maybe
go.
she was trying to protect her sister.
You think it was her sister?
Her sister in womanhood. You know?
Oh.
Not like her sister, but like, oh, we're sisters.
Nah, no. If it was a girl ghost, she knows that bitch is crazy.
Okay.
She knows. Trust me.
Did you talk to her after you left?
Yeah, every so often.
And did you talk about the incident?
Yeah. She said, I told you. She said, I told you stuff like that happens. And I was like, shh. So, like, and here's the other thing. I didn't want to believe ghosts were real because that shit scares the fuck out of me. Like, I don't watch, like, The Nun.
Okay.
Or, like, any of that shit because it fucks. Like, here's the thing. Like, if I watch, like, Mike Myers or something, that's a person who I can see in front of me and I can deal with, right? But, like, ghosts and shit, you can't deal with that. Like, when you shoot a ghost, you can't shoot a ghost. You can't stab a ghost. So it's like, that always fucked with me heavy.
Okay.
Like, ghosts and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I watched The Exorcist and that fucked with me bad.
Really? I remember when I was young, I watched The Exorcist, maybe 14, 15. But I remember hearing people say it was the scariest movie of all time or whatever. And I was like, all right, let's put it in. And honestly, if you're not Catholic or raised Catholic, it's not that fucking scary.
Yeah.
Personally.
I was like 9 because my dad somehow got HBO for free, like on our basic cable. And it was like 1 in the morning, and I was like, I don't know, 9, 10, something like that. And I turned on as The Exorcist. She's doing the fucking spider walk down the stairs, and her head's turning around and shit. That fucked me up a little bit. You know what I mean? A little kid. So I don't know. It's just, but it was also just the idea of like a ghost could fucking come out of the wall and grab you. That always scared me way more than like a person breaking in and robbing, like a slasher movie or something.
Yeah, because someone breaking in, there's actions you can take.
They're in front of you.
Even if you're terrified,
you can
do
something
you can take.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like a ghost coming right at you, what are you gonna like juke a ghost out? Like you're fucked.
Here we go with another edition of John's outdated movie takes. Speaking of ghost stories, The Grudge, one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yes.
Fell asleep in the theater. The same with The Ring and The Ring 2. Only because of dates that I see those in the theater.
Okay.
My Bloody Valentine, again, another date.
Yeah.
Horrible fucking movie.
See, but the first two, The Grudge and The Ring, fucked me up.
Really?
I can't, especially at The Ring at the end, where like they include you in the movie now. Like, oh, we did show it to someone. I'm like, fuck. You know, like, dude, like it fucked with me, dude.
I thought the Blair Witch Project was one of the greatest things ever made until I got a hold of it and watched it, and then thought, this is shit.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Oh,
because I knew how I would react.
You know the movie that got me, that terrified me? 13 Ghosts.
Okay, what's that about?
It is, and I'm probably going to fuck it up, but it's about this guy, for some reason or another, gets this house, inherits it or whatever with his family, and it was like a prison for ghosts or entities or something, and somehow or another they started getting out and doing their shit.
Yeah.
You know, terrifying. And I don't think it was the concept of the movies as much as it was the actual ghosts that they had. It fucked me up. Still scares me when I watch that.
Dude, I think too, I was raised religiously, which we talked about last time.
We did talk about that.
And like, so I was taught like, hey, if you watch these videos, this is going to happen to you. Like if you watch the videos, you're making like an entry, like you're inviting these things into your life, and shit will happen to you.
Forgive me if I'm incorrect, but you were a Jehovah's Witness growing up, and we did talk about that on another podcast, but that indoctrination is crazy.
Yeah, well, it's just like, I couldn't prove him wrong. I couldn't be like, nuh-uh. Like, I don't know, so like, I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people that are like the fandom for horror movies and whatnot. And, rock on to them. But I never got into that because I've watched, most of the Jasons, most of the Freddys, and I know that's not what they're called.
Yeah.
But like
usually stories lacking.
You know, they were cool.
Yeah.
Like that's how he died. That's cool, but it never like made me want to follow him.
Yeah.
I don't care about the Mike Myers movies. Like Leprechaun is probably the greatest series ever because how is it not?
You ever seen Thanksgiving?
I haven't seen Thanksgiving.
Oh, great movie. Murderous Turkey.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Somebody got that from an idea of South Park, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, probably.
My favorite movie I seen coming out a lot recently was like, what's his name? It's like German or something, but it's like a Santa Claus type.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Santa Claus. Well, they had that Mel Gibson Santa Claus movie. Did you see that one? Oh, man. I wanted to see it, where it's like Santa was a retired Navy SEAL.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Who had, like, defend North Pole. It was Mel Gibson.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, dude, yeah. You got to see it. I got to see it. It looks good.
Well, we somehow switched from horror movies to holiday movies. Do you have a favorite holiday movie?
See, that's another thing. Joe's Witnesses. I couldn't watch holidays that much. However, I do like The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I've never seen that.
Really good movie. You know, I was gonna say it was a good horror movie though, because my beef with horror movies is that there's usually no story. It's just like, let's kill a bunch of people, which I respect. But like, Saw 1, great horror movie.
Yeah,
like great movie, also a horror movie. The rest of them were just like, let's kill people, which, like I said, it's fine. Bunch of like twists and stuff. But like the story of number 1 is a great movie on its own.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
It was a good one. I remember seeing that the first time and being like, wow.
Like, yeah. Like
when everybody saw the Matrix for the first time, you're just like,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What if we are in a simulation? It's like, shut up, Greg.
Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, holiday movie. Yeah, definitely Nightmare Before Christmas. I had an ex-girlfriend make me watch Hocus Pocus with her.
That is my girlfriend's favorite movie.
Yeah, I'll never get that time back. And then
it's a cute little movie for kids.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
When I was like 10, maybe it would have been really cool.
Yeah, like don't sit down and be like, this is gonna be like Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
like it's fucking Hocus Pocus.
But I kind of hate Halloween in general. Like I'm not a Halloween person.
No.
I like Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I like 4th of July. I like holidays where it requires me to buy nothing and we can eat.
Okay.
Like Christmas is cool. Like I love Christmas time and like the whole like merriment of Christmas, but like it causes such a strain on people that have to go buy gifts and all that shit. It's like, let's just hang out.
I want to touch on that actually because it's changed for me a bit, but if I don't mention this now, I'm going to forget it. I want to put you on to my favorite Christmas movie.
Okay.
And it's a classic with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad,
what?
Phil Hartman,
what?
Amongst others. It's called Jim Belushi is in it.
Holy shit!
Wait, which the one who's dead? John's right, dead, right?
John Belushi's dead.
Yes, then Jim Belushi's in it.
Okay,
that's how I remember which one's dead. The African American little person actor.
Okay.
Who was in Me, Myself, and Irene? Is
oh
in it.
My God! Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
It's called Jingle All the Way.
Okay.
And he has to get this doll. It's a Turbo Man for his son, but obviously they're selling out.
Who's lead? Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
Wow.
Obviously they're sold out everywhere, so it's a battle for him and Sinbad to both get a Turbo Man doll. They team up, work against each other. Phil Hartman's trying to sleep with his wife. Fascinating movie. Wonderful holiday movie.
God.
Favorite holiday movie.
How's this not in the zeitgeist more? Like I've never heard of this.
It should be. It's amazing. Arnold Schwarzenegger has to beat up Jim Belushi as Santa. And is in the warehouse getting a Chinese Turbo Man. If it's 20-some years old, if you haven't seen it, sorry. Trying to get a Chinese Turbo Man and sneaks in there and has to fight off all these other Santa Clauses. And like then there's a big boss Santa Claus who's like 6'8" and jacked at the end.
What the fuck?
It's a great fucking
Was
movie.
this like straight to TV movie
no,
or something? No.
This was a big
in the theaters.
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
I'm gonna watch it.
It is a gem of a movie. Sinbad plays an insane postal worker.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It came out around the time when Sinbad was pretty hot.
Yeah.
Do you remember House Guest?
Amazing. Wow.
You remember that movie?
Yeah, holy
With
shit.
Phil Hartman and
yes.
Sinbad. One of my old bosses was actually a background actor folding clothes in the country club.
Oh my god.
Shout out to Dane if he's even still alive.
Dude.
Yeah. No, so that's a great movie. I highly recommend you check it out.
I can't believe I'd never heard of this before.
Now we're on the Sinbad kick. Have you seen First Kid?
No.
Okay. First Kid is a 90s movie.
Okay.
He is a Secret Service agent. Sinbad is a Secret Service agent
Naturally.
put in charge of protecting the president's son.
Okay.
Chat rooms were new at the time.
Okay.
So the plot of the movie is
Evil
he
chat
got into
rooms.
a chat room
Yeah.
with another boy to play some VR gaming, but it turns out to be a disgruntled ex-Secret Service member, and the whole time he doesn't want to watch the kid. He wants to watch the president, and by the end, he gets shot saving the kid, and they're like, oh, you can protect the president now? He's like, no, I got my guard, or whatever the fuck he says.
Oh, my God.
But it's another lot of 90s mall filming in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful movie.
90s was a great era for great, terrible movies.
Yes,
You know
because
what I mean?
First Kid, like I said, not Citizen Kane. It's a terrible movie.
Same thing, though. Same thing, yeah.
But it's fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah, 90s was a great, 80s too, but like I love watching bad, like Face Off. Like I love watching like bad,
Remember
like terrible,
you
but
remember the
also
movie
great
Snake
movies.
Eyes?
Snake Eyes?
With Nick Cage, where he was a gambler.
Oh
And
my
he
god.
like had to
yes.
somebody had to throw a boxing fight or some
Yes,
shit.
dude. Terrible, but great.
Terrible.
But great.
Nick Cage is simultaneously terrible and great in everything he's ever done.
Everything, dude.
He's so bad but so good.
Yeah. The only I haven't seen that new movie that he's in where he like plays himself.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I heard it's really good though. I want to see that.
I'd love to check that out.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the Christmas and how it's like commercial and stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't celebrated Christmas since the missus died
Okay.
in 2017.
Okay.
And honestly, now that I've got kids, it's different for me. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
I wanted to make these beautiful memories for them, even if they're little.
Sure.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's felt so much different this year
Yeah.
because not only was I the guy walking around sad, like I ain't got no family, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I was also like, oh, it's too fucking commercialized. This is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And last night I put the tree up and I plugged it in, and my 3-year-old went, "Ah, tree," and it was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Christmas is on forever.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and I get that. And if it was like, okay, the tradition is buying gifts for children, then I'm like, yeah, that's great. You know what I mean? But like, I'm in like, I have a friend group where they're like, let's all buy gifts for each other. I'm like, let's just hang out. Like now I gotta think of something to gift you. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just hang out and drink eggnog and shit. Like, why we gotta do the whole? But how about you buy what you want and I'll buy what I want,
That's fair.
and we'll hang out.
Well, right now I'm the breadwinner of the house. I'm the only one supporting the house. So that means if I want Christmas presents, I have to buy them for myself.
Yeah.
Which I have been doing, and it's been great.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, honestly, it's not about me. I won't spend money on myself
Yeah.
as much as I want. I've been spending some. Daddy's getting some shoes and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been great though.
But see, like buying gifts for kids, yeah, it's totally different because kids appreciate them on a different level than like, it's like, I'm not buying gifts for adults. Mm-hmm. You have a job, dude.
Well,
I'll buy a gift for a kid anytime.
I asked my mom. I said, "What do you want for Christmas?" You know how moms are. Usually saying, "Whatever, I don't care." She said to me, "I want a toaster, 2 nightgowns, and some fuzzy socks."
She's been waiting on this.
I said, "All right." I went out and got him that day. I wish everything was that simple.
Yep.
But you know, I always enjoyed the idea of the holiday.
Sure.
But man, when Kate passed, ooh, it was because she passed in early November. So Thanksgiving,
The whole time.
Christmas, and New Year's just were miserable from year one, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I just never let it really recover.
Yeah, and there's so many people in that a similar kind of situation too, where it's like, yeah, we think about the holidays and how fun it is for everyone, but there's for a lot of people, holidays are straight hell every year.
Yeah.
Because of like the the memories it evokes or whatever. But like it's a hellish, like we don't think of the hellish side of holidays. We don't think of like, oh, people who are enjoying it.
So Kate died in November of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Then my aunt went and died in December of 2020.
Ugh.
So even if I was going to be able to like
Yeah.
recover, that just slowed everything. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. There's arguments for and against holidays. I like I said, I like the ones where I get to eat.
Yeah.
Like 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving. Yeah,
I'll do you one better. I like a holiday where I get the day off work and get paid for it.
Fuck yeah.
That's the bonus for me at this point.
Yeah. Although I kind of like, I get that, but whenever like I go to need something on the holidays and everything is shut down, I'm like, this is bullshit. And then I realize that rich people who don't work, they live holidays, but everyone else works. Mm-hmm. So like they get everything they want while not working. I'm like, oh, that's a rich person.
Yeah.
Fuck. They just live on holidays while the rest of us work.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. That's pretty it. Yeah, I get irate when stuff's closed on the holidays.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
It's like Thanksgiving. Like we went out to her mother's house in Katanning and ate blah 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 blah.
Place, Katanning.
Yeah. Fucking miserable. Best thing that came out of Katanning had a baby with me.
There you go.
Heyo. But we were done early. White people.
Yeah.
And our mother didn't cook a lot. Whatever. We left at like 4, something like that.
Wow, that's nice.
And I'm trying to go to Walmart on the way home, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this shit?" No.
Fucked.
What, you all got families? You all got holidays?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me being an old cranky old man.
Yeah, unless you want Chinese food, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Or Indian food.
I stopped at Sheetz and got a quesarito.
Oh, see, yeah, Sheetz.
Sheetz was
That's
clutch.
why, dude, I'm telling you, like, you ever been to like a Sheetz like 3 a.m. and get food?
Absolutely.
The most unhappy person in the world is cooking your food.
Yeah.
You ever seen them, dude?
Yeah.
One time, they'll like judge you based off how you look too. Like one time I went in there after work, it was like, as I was bartending, it was like 3 a.m. and I got and I'm ordering, like I'm like clicking in the machine what I want. And like, I'm like, oh, I changed my mind. I go erase something and I do it. So I'm there for a little bit. And the lady behind the counter goes, oh, come on. Because she thought I was just like ordering a bunch of shit. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, what else are you doing? Like, dude, it was hilarious. But I'm like, dude, the most unhappy people in the world work there overnight.
So, like myself, you've taken a little step back from comedy.
Yeah.
You said you had a theory about that.
Well, it's just like, if you're going to do comedy, especially in a place like this, you like Pittsburgh, I mean, like you have to, anywhere, you have to completely 100% every minute of every day, like be dedicated to doing that. Like all your time has to be like, how do I make this joke better? How do I meet the right people? How do I push the show? Like, has to be everything. And like, if I was gonna do that, I was gonna be broke as shit. Like broke. Like, and I've been broke. I know you've been broke. Like,
many times.
I can't do that anymore. Like, yeah. I can never be broke again in my life. It won't happen. And it's like, comedy's not going anywhere. And you can do it to your fucking 80. You can do it for as long as you can live.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like they'll wheel you. When Richard Pryor was dying, they were wheeling him on stage.
Yeah.
Like, you can go do comedy whenever the fuck you want. And it's like, I wasn't about to ruin the rest of my life, like put me in this pit that I can't get out of, to like pull a lottery ticket and hope that I, have a successful comedy career. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. You're playing the lottery. Like, even if you're a hilarious comedian, but you don't market the right way or you don't meet the right people, you might not ever make it. And like, me and you both know people who have done this shit for 10 years, 15 years plus.
Yeah.
And are in the same exact, haven't moved forward a fucking inch.
Also, I've met some people that are like funny beyond anything I've ever thought I was. Mm-hmm. Like, just fucking balls hilarious and struggling, not doing,
yeah.
Been doing it 20 years, funny as a motherfucker.
Yep.
Just no breakthrough.
Yeah, and it's like, I love
doing little clubs here, in Akron or Tupelo, Mississippi, like nowhere big.
Yeah, you get $10 to host at the Improv or some shit. Like, I love comedy. I love doing, like, doing it, love watching it. I love doing podcasts and stuff, but like I'm not gonna fuck the rest of my life. Like I can't live broke anymore. Just can't do it.
I feel you right there. That's been somewhat similar. You know, like I did try and destroy my shit, but then once I came back and started improving and fixing my shit,
sure,
I didn't have the mental space to like focus on comedy.
Yeah.
And then through the pregnancy and with the baby, I've had priorities right now.
Sure.
And Johnny Lee Dam said comedy will always be there.
Always.
You know, I remember him telling me that, and it just stuck with me because, yeah, I want to go back. I write down shit all the time right now, but I got a newborn, a 3-year-old, a stressed out woman, a dying mother. Like, I got a lot going on, and I'm working, trying to do this on the side. It never stops.
You know, man, fucking kudos to you. Because we've both watched people neglect their family, like to do comedy. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we're at an open mic. There's no audience. It's just comics, and your kids are at home, dude.
That's
like,
been
being
a
like,
driving force
daddy?
too. Because I've thought about, like, obviously there's specific mics to go to that have an audience.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of mics that might have 1 or 2 people or nobody. And that's in the back of my head, too. I'm like, yo,
what the fuck are
I'm telling these jokes to chairs while my kids are at home.
Yes. Ridiculous. That's fucking, I even back then when I was, like, really going hard in comedy, I watch those people like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're going to hate yourself someday when your kids are, like, when you are sick and your kids are, like, doing some other shit, and they're going to be like, well, you were at an open mic. When we were babies, so we don't even fucking know you because you were telling jokes to fucking drunk people who are watching the Pirates game.
Like, I understand more now because when I was out there hitting it, for 3-4 years in a row, almost every night.
You were one of the most active people in the scene, like for mics and shit like that.
I was like, yo, these guys that are coming out once or twice a week, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
And then I found that, they had families and shit. And I'm like, it's crazy. But now that I got a family, I'm like, oh, those dudes were doing the right fucking thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So it's like, I fully plan on, like, hitting it hard again in my life. But it's like, you got to get, like, a base underneath you to be able to, like, do it.
Well, yeah. I came back literally and had to start from nothing again. And have been working on building a foundation. And I want to say by March, I should have a new house, like, and everything, like, set up. Mm-hmm. So where I'm happy with her working, me working, family time, and still able to pursue some.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's like you gotta do it smart. And
it's been
like,
uphill.
I think a lot of times, like people who are trying to get into comedy or just start or whatever, they'll watch like podcasts of famous comedians be like, "I slept in a sink for a year." It's like, yeah, dude, you also did that at a totally different time than we're at right now. Yeah, like it's never been easier to be homeless. Like to become homeless than now. You know what I mean? Like you fuck around, you don't have any like insurance, like you don't have any like break glass in case of emergency money. You could be homeless as fuck.
Oh yeah.
So it's like this isn't a time right now where you can do frivolous dumb shit. It's like be smart and get your life together and then do what you want to do. Like they were doing it at a time where like shit was cheap.
Yeah.
Shit was easy. You could be, you could live like couch. Like your friends might not have couches now.
That's
you know
very
what I
true.
mean? Like you gotta do shit for you now.
And you know what? It's easier to, and I say this while I'm not making money doing it, but I think it's easier to make money from a social platform these days.
100%.
For a lot of people. So there's money out there. Like we just talked about jobs. I know it's not enough, but you can get a $15 an hour job if you throw a fucking gumball.
Right. Yeah.
And the process is, and I speak on this because I went fucking through it from being homeless. The process is difficult and it's fucking slow. Mm-hmm. But there's no shortcuts. You gotta slowly build stuff over time.
Right.
And people want to rush to the fucking end.
Yeah.
Like you said, with a lot of people see these famous comedians, they're at the end.
They've
made it.
Yeah. Also, lottery winner.
Yeah.
Lucky as fuck.
Because there's a million fucking hilarious people out there.
Yeah. It would be the similar as like watching a podcast from a lottery winner, like someone who like won the Powerball for like $1 billion.
Yeah.
And then being like, I'm going to invest every cent I ever make into a lottery.
Yeah.
Because that's my dream.
No,
You know what I mean? So it's like a lot, and I'm not saying like don't do it. I'm not saying like don't do comedy or whatever, but I'm saying like don't fuck your life over because it's going to take a lot of luck and a lot of skill. Mm-hmm. So like do it because you love it, not as like a business plan. Mm-hmm. And like I think it's too like a lot of people doing comedy just don't want to work.
I was going to say follow your dreams, kids, but have a day job.
Yeah.
You know,
they just don't want to work.
You know, this is someone again who didn't want to have a day job. Mm-hmm. So I fucking hustled my ass off.
Who does? Yeah.
You know, I was driving Uber and Lyft for fucking 80 hours a week.
Right.
You know, but I was getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the trade-off. If you don't want to have a job, you got to fucking be hungry and go get it.
Yeah.
You got to make some money because that's the thing. Life's not fucking free, unfortunately, as that is.
Yeah.
You know, I know so many people want, socialism and all that. Life's not fucking free here. It's not going to ever be fucking free here. You got to work for that shit. It's not fair. Life isn't fucking fair. Yeah. No one said life is fair. Like, that's one argument I had with Stephanie. We were talking about me buying her Christmas gifts.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's not fair that you do because I don't have a job right now, blah, blah, blah. Or she'll say things that I want to do aren't fair. Life isn't fucking fair.
Right.
It never will be.
No.
I was a widower at 30 for no fault of my own. Life's not fucking fair. You got to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, kids. Grandpa's angry.
Yeah, man. It's just, you know, and especially like people trying to do it in Pittsburgh, like very, very small. Not a lot of opportunities for comics here. So, like, if you go to New York or something, and which I really respect because there's a lot of comics now in Pittsburgh moving out to go to bigger markets, which I'm like, hey, if you're going to do it, fucking do it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, to hope to, like, meet someone who's going to take you on the road and put some money in your pocket in Pittsburgh, it's
rough.
One person maybe I know that's happened to here. So it's like, yeah, like, if you're going to do it, go to a place that makes sense, but also don't. Especially, there's like 18-year-old kids doing it right now. I'm like, don't fuck up your whole life for this shit. Like, get a base under you, and then you can do whatever the fuck. You can do stand-up because you love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do a podcast because you actually love it.
That's the reason I'm doing this podcast, is because I actually love doing this.
Yeah.
And the reason I will eventually get back to doing open mics, just because I love it.
Right.
You know, I don't know if I'll ever make anything from it, but I love doing it, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, and like, yeah, and you'll hear like comics, like successful comics who are like, you can't have a backup plan, but like also, I've never seen anything in life where desperation makes it more likable.
Yeah, like,
and we like I've seen people on stage who I can tell are desperate as fuck to like make something work out of this, and I'm like, it reeks. I'm like, but instead, like people just go up there and have a good time. They're way better comics. And that's why all these successful comedians are super great comics now, way better than they were, because there's no more desperation. They're just doing what they like to do. So it's like, get to a place where you're not desperate anymore and then do it. You
know, to quote Joe Rogan, when he got his money from his TV show, that gave him freedom to do
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
You know, he didn't have to worry about how I'm going to pay the rent every month, how I'm going to eat today. He said that gave me the freedom to fucking do shit.
Yeah, and he started acting in his early 20s, I think, mid-20s.
Yeah.
So it's like...
News radio. Phil Hartman again.
Yeah. So it's like, I like Joe Rogan, but like, you listen to him, it's like, you're taking life advice from someone who won the fucking lottery. They got a huge acting
Every step of the way.
Yeah.
Not to say he didn't work for things, but like, you're fucking taekwondo champion or whatever it is. Like, great. Then you jump into acting. You got on a fucking syndicated show that people loved. You hosted a reality show. And people you didn't have to do anything but say, here, eat these donkey nuts.
Yeah.
Like, not saying he didn't work on a stand-up and shit, but now look at him.
Yeah.
Every step of the way, he won a lottery.
Yeah. And I'm, not disparaging. I'm glad because like, he's a
Who gives a fuck if we disparage that rich motherfucker?
No,
like,
no, but I'm saying like, he's cool, right?
I'm going to be like, someone talking shit because I'm talking shit on Joe Rogan.
Well, I don't want people to be like, oh, they're fucking jaded, and just because they're like that, it's like, no. I think if you like stand-up, you should do stand-up.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, you should also be doing things to take care of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And like to listen to these guys who, are successful now, not really applicable to, especially now, like you say, it's never been easier to start a podcast or have a social platform or something where it's like, just be smart about it. And it's like, I looked at my own life and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm 31. So like, I'm not gonna like fuck the rest of my life over to do this one thing I like doing. Like, I'm gonna build something where I can do what I want to do. And I enjoy the business of restaurants. Like, I enjoy, like, starting the Sokah has been like super fun. Like starting something from nothing, building it up, learning everything I've been having to do, because there's a lot of business stuff you don't learn, like managing restaurants, as far as like setting it up with the state, all that shit. And it's like, you know, just hustling, creating partnerships with people to make things work, you know, because you don't have a huge budget. It's been fun. I like doing that. But it's like people got to find something they like doing to make them money.
Yeah.
To then really do what you love to do later.
Real quick, before we wrap it up here, tell me about the Cory Brennan podcast.
Yeah, okay, so I was so wrapped up working at my other last restaurant, Alchemy, I really hadn't done it, but it's coming back.
Okay.
Super excited. I wish I never stopped because we were really gaining a lot of traction, and then, you know, we let up, but we're looking to probably have episodes start coming out after New Year's. We're starting to record them now and get a couple in the can, as they say in the biz. And then, yeah, so we're going to be having them out after New Year's. It's basically just me talking shit about whatever's going on, like in the news or pop culture or whatever.
It's
just
an entertaining show.
I
highly recommend it.
I say a lot of things I don't mean. I just like making fun of shit and, you know, pissing people off, and it's just fun. Me and my boy JB. Actually, the chef, from Sokah. He's my he's my co-host. Yeah, big black dude with dreads.
Yeah.
He's the Caribbean chef.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
how about that? That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're bringing that back, and yeah, I'm super excited. Like, I always love doing the podcast way more than stand up. I love the podcast.
This birthed because of I was doing stand up and I wanted to do a podcast, and man, oh man, this has given me so much joy.
Yeah, man. How great is podcast is.
I love, because I talk to so many interesting, different people. And it's just
chopping it up, having fun.
From all walks of life, man. It's been great. But thank you for coming in today. Guys, you know the drill. Cory Brennan Podcast on all streaming platforms, I'm sure.
Yep.
YouTube channel. If you liked today's episode, like, share, subscribe, do something, maybe. I don't know. Just fucking listen again next week.
Yeah.
Cory Brennan, thank you for coming in. Thank you guys for watching.
This is the Inquisitive Minds Podcast.